Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, welcome. This is a channel where we discuss lots of motorsports, namely NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, and Formula One. We do plan to broaden that scope eventually, but for now, that's what we cover. So on today's edition of the Xfinity Rewind Show, we're looking back at today's 8th annual Iowa 250 presented by Enogen. 250 laps from the 7/8 mile Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. Not a lot happening in this race, caution-wise. There's some great racing on track, as Iowa usually provides, just not a lot in the way of cautions to talk about. 5 total for 31 laps. Only one in stage number 1 was on lap 5 when Garrett Smithley spun in turn number 2. Stage 1 ends at lap 60 with Justin Allgaier picking up the stage win. Stage 2, nothing happening whatsoever in terms of cautions. Justin Allgaier also picks up the win in stage number 2. Lap 200, Chad Fincham takes a spin in turn number 1 to bring out the caution. And lap 234, Brandon Hightower spins in turn number 4. 13 lead changes on the day among 5 drivers. Justin Allgaier far and away leading the most laps with 182 out of the 250 laps. Austin Cindric led the first 58 circuits on the day before being passed by Justin Allgaier for that Stage 1 victory, just 2 laps shy of his first stage win. Cole Custer led 6 laps on the day, as well as Christopher Bell and Daniel Hemrick, both leading 2 laps apiece. Now let's dive into the results for the day, and as we can see here, Justin Allgaier sweeps the day, as we already said, won both stages, and he wins the race as well. His second win of the season, and he is now officially locked into the playoffs. Wasn't officially locked in before, as the win in Dover got taken away in terms of playoff eligibility for failing post-race inspection. This one, though, does lock him into the playoffs pending that nothing happens with post-race inspection. Haven't heard anything from that, so I'm assuming we're good on that front. Christopher Bell gave Allgaier a very good run there in the final laps, just didn't quite have enough to get by Allgaier there at the end. The rest of your top 5, Daniel Hemrick, Cole Custer, and Brandon Jones. Here in 6th, we'll see Riley Herbst. We've seen him a lot on the ARCA Rewind show this year, running that full season in ARCA for Joe Gibbs Racing, making his first Xfinity Series start today in that 18 car for JGR, with a very impressive 6th place run. Congratulations to Riley on the great run in his first Xfinity race. Rest of your top 10, Ty Majeski, Tyler Reddick, Matt Tifft, and Kaz Gralla there in 10th. 11th through 20th, Austin Cindric we see there in 11th. Had a great day overall. Like we said, almost picked up that first stage victory in Stage 1. Came home in 2nd in Stage 1 and 5th in Stage 2. Justin Haley in the 23 car this week for GMS Racing, filling in that ride for this week. John Hunter Nemechek comes home in 15th, and Shane Lee makes another start in that 3 car, comes home in the 16th position. Ryan Reed in 17th. 21st through 30th, we'll see Elliott Sadler down here in the 28th position. Not a great day for him, 11 laps off the pace there in 28th. 31st through 40th, not really much to mention down in here, mostly start and parks on this page, so really nothing to get into there. So that's your results from the Iowa 250 presented by Enogen. Now, as we had in the Truck Rewind show yesterday, we don't have any video from the Media Center for Iowa for whatever reason again, but we do have audio for some reason. So we will give you the audio from Justin Allgaier in the Media Center following this race.
Definitely wasn't a dominant day, that's for sure. We felt like in practice yesterday, when Jason and I kind of talked last night, we didn't really know what to do any different because we felt like we had the handling that we wanted. We just needed a little bit more speed, and qualifying this morning was disappointing because I thought we had a car that would qualify a little bit better. And then once the race starts, as soon as we took the green and we were able to pass some cars there right away, I knew we had something special. And then it was just a matter of kind of trying to be methodical and pick them off. And Jason did a great job today of making good adjustments. You know, we even the one adjustment that I felt like we kind of went a little too far on, the pace was still there, and we still were able to maintain the speed that we were looking for. So pit crew did a fantastic job. Spotter Frank Denny did a great job. It's just, you know, when you have cars like we had today, it's so much fun to drive them, and to be able to race a guy like Christopher coming down to the end. I mean, he battled it as hard as he could battle and raced me clean. Obviously, we had battles earlier on with Cole and with Daniel. They all raced clean, and it just all in all a fun day. And I love the Iowa Speedway. I love the raciness of it and being able to move around and try and find that lane that works for your car the best. And today we did a good job of executing.
All right, so we'll take a look at the Xfinity playoff grid before wrapping up here tonight. Not a lot of changes this week as we see Justin Allgaier obviously hopping to the top of the board with his second win of the season. First guy to get multiple wins this season in the Xfinity Series. Only other position change being down here below the cutoff line. Ryan Sieg drops 2 spots, allowing Michael Annett and Kaz Gralla both to move up 1 spot apiece. And the cutoff line really solidifying down here. I mean, you've got, what are we looking at here? 24 points between Ross Chastain and Michael Annett. So fairly close right there. It is going to take a little bit of bad luck, I think, out of Ross Chastain to really put him in good reach of Annett, Gralla, and Sieg down here, who are all within 2 points of each other. But Austin Cindric up here, 80 points up on Michael Annett. So really, you got a pretty defined cut line here. Ross Chastain, at the moment, really the only guy in any kind of danger of falling out of the playoffs, and he's really not in all that uncomfortable of a position. Obviously, I'm sure he would like to be more comfortable and have more of a padding than that, but I don't think he's sweating right now like if he were maybe 3 points up from Annett or something like that. It's a little bit of breathing room. Not a lot, but he's got a little bit. It'll be interesting to see going forward, especially if somebody outside the playoffs like a Kaz Gralla or somebody wins a race, gets into the playoffs. Then we have a much more defined cut line down here. So that's your playoff grid following the Iowa 250 presented by Enogen, and I think that will do it for us tonight. So thank you for joining me. As always, if you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications, and hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.